Hi everybody. Okay, so I had explained last time about feeding. Yeah. With my fish, they get fed a teaspoon of hikari, small pellet, goldfish food. This is a wheat germ, so it allows them to grow a lot quicker. It is good for them, really good for them. It has a lot of the stuff they need, such as omega-3s and certain fats that they need. So I highly recommend hikari goldfish food. It's great for all goldfish. I mean, sorry about the cloudiness. I had to put my buffer in. I have an Oranda, Ryukin, Oranda, Blackmore. They're all great. And the food is great for all of them. So, I recommend that. So they get a half a teaspoon, which I measure with one of these little baby medicine dispensers. You can get these at CVS, and it comes along with one of these for like $3. I highly recommend to pick them up. They come in blue too, so boys, you don't like the pink, get blue. I love pink, so I got pink. Yeah. So this is what I use. And at night, they don't get brine shrimp, but today they can get a little treat. So I keep a cup on my windowsill. This contains my live brine shrimp. I pretty much suck them up into this little thing. I don't know if you guys can see them in there. It's kind of hard to see them. Let me get out of the dose. That should be a bit easier to see them now. See them floating around in there? There they are. They're really fucking gross. But they get a little bit of that here and there at night because protein is good for them, but not in mass amounts. So they'll get brine shrimp in the morning mainly. I'll give them 2 pretty good keeping sizes of these, and they'll get that. But at nighttime is their veggie night, so tonight they get seaweed. It's on the schedule. Usually, like, they'll get broccoli, peas. They don't like carrots, but goldfish can have carrots, which is fine, as long as you, cook them first and chop them up into small pieces. My fish preferably don't like carrots. So, with the seaweed, I'll break it up into little small pieces. Just because when I put them on the seaweed clips, my fish attack it and it gets all over my tank, and I really don't like that. And it makes a big old mess and turns your water green, and it's not fun. So, what I'll usually do, my hands are clean, have been washed with soap. It is nice. I'll kind of put my fingers in there with a little bit. Mimi usually goes after it. And if she doesn't, I usually just keep my fingers in here until they do. You want to see? I do have the pellets still in there. Usually before I put the pellets in, I have a little cup, a little glass bowl, and I soak the pellets just because it's easier for them to get. I would say it makes them sink a little bit so they don't get swim bladder, which is when it's actually bad, really bad for them to get swim bladder. Usually when you see goldfish floating upside down, it's swim bladder disorder. It's like, it's air in their tummies, and you don't want that. Just like if it's gas. Just like if you drink too much soda, you'd get gas. Right now they seem a little satisfied with the, you want this? Do we have a taker? No. Apparently not digging veggies tonight. So if they don't take it right away, I'll let it float. Because they still have copious amounts of pellets in there. So. And I also have a pleco. And he's around somewhere. He's very small. And I've heard a lot of rumors about plecos attaching themselves to goldfish. I have not seen it once. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to many people. I'm friends with a lot of people who love fish just as much as I do. So Yeah, I haven't had one problem with pleco. As soon as I do, I'll definitely separate them, but my common pleco is great. Only because of my common pleco do I have a heater. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't have a heater because my goldfish can live in like 62-degree weather. Well, water, I should say. So usually their routine at night is vegetables. Seaweed tonight. This is what the seaweed looks like. You can also use kelp, which you can buy at the supermarket. It's a little bit cheaper. This stuff usually runs for $8, and it's the Omega-1 Super Veggie. See? Green seaweed. It's probably backwards, just because this is a mirror image. But I love this stuff. Too bad it flakes off. Kelp doesn't flake off as well, but it makes it a little bit less easier for them to eat, and it looks like they already ate the seaweed at the top. But if they don't start eating, I also have to feed the pleco as well. So if I do seaweed, I fold it in half. I grab a clean clip. I have stuff called seaweed clips, and you can buy these. These are seaweed clips. See, they clip, and they have a little suction cup on the back. How you attach the seaweed. I fold it pretty well, and usually this is the best time to feed the pleco because they're preoccupied with the pellets, so the pleco has time to latch himself on here. And he's already up for feeding, he already saw it, so, and I simply attach it, and he's already going for it. You see him. My little baby pleco, that's toothless. Other than that, they do not get fed fish flakes. I've tried it once, and they were not happy with me. They are not fans of fish flakes whatsoever. Hate it. Yeah, they'll spit them right out. So, other than the seaweed, I feed them broccoli, peas, apples. They enjoy garlic. But when you do garlic, you can use minced garlic that you can buy at the supermarket. But make sure it has no preservatives or additives such as salt or pepper. Just plain minced garlic. Put a little tiny scoop in there because garlic is very potent and it will block out the oxygen. So be careful with that. My fish love it, so they gobble it up right away. Oh, and I also apologize about my hair. Long day. Can you tell? So that's the way they get fed. Mainly, it's a very strict schedule. My fish are very big, if you haven't noticed. Mimi is my larger Oranda. She's around 6.5 inches, probably 6 inches long. And that's just from her mouth to the edge of her body before her tail attaches. The Ryukin and the Oranda, my red cap Oranda, are exactly the same size. I'd say they're about 4 inches long from the tip of their mouth to right before their tail starts. My Blackmore, around 2.5 inches. She's catching up to the red cap and Ryukin. But they're very healthy, especially treating fish injuries. Well, that'll be another video I make, how to treat a fish injury. And I'll also be teaching you guys how to make a heater cover and etc. So if you guys have any questions on feeding and feeding schedules, please don't be afraid to ask. Feeding your goldfish can sometimes be a little bit more of a hassle. And not just brine shrimp can be used as a protein. I also use super worms. They're really gross. My larger goldfish loves the super worms. The grossest part, though, is I cut off their heads before I feed them to my fish, and it's disgusting. And they still move after you cut them off, so it's just gross and blech. But I do it because I love them. But yeah, protein is definitely essential for their diet, and so is the vegetables. They can't just live on fish flakes or pellets. Definitely add some variety, and they'll grow, and they'll grow, and they'll grow, and they'll grow. And also another thing to add growth is bigger your tank, more they're going to grow. So, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. And Miss Fancy Fish is out. Bye.